Margaret Hurd. I'm president of Austwick Flower Show, and this is my third year of being the president. Thinking back to my childhood, we had such lovely memories, all of us really. At home, we were never allowed to go into the front room because the front room was just full of potatoes, flowers, cookery, everything that was involved in the flower show. We had many a night going on to Bentham Moor picking reeds to put in the vases so that Dad could arrange all his flowers. Mum was busy with the cookery, and I don't know how she did it, but she had 4 children doing miniature gardens, all the events that took place in the children's section we entered. So I think our house must have been chaos at that particular time. Recently, when I was going through some photographs upstairs, looking for something else actually, I came across this photograph album which my dad took in 1996 of Austwick Flower Show, and it's amazing when you look at it. There is still people in the village in this album that are still entering today in the flower show. Interestingly, the layout of the flower show in this is very much similar to the one that we have today. And you'll notice when you look through this that the quality of the entries is just absolutely superb. Extremely busy, but the quality is just excellent. I would encourage anybody, young or old, to take part in the village show because it's such good fun, good for the community and good all round.
Hello, I'm Graham Cleverley. Gwen and I have lived in the village for 13 years and I was appointed chairman of the village show in 2017, and it's a great honour. The Austwick Village Show is set in the lovely Yorkshire Dales, and it includes the village of Austwick and Laukland and the surrounding hamlets, which are Wharf and Fazer and Eldroth. The show includes local produce, flowers, cookery, eggs, handicrafts, art and photography, and children's exhibits. The show committee is really proud that this year is the 129th year of the village show, having been first established in 1895, with short breaks during the wars, and more recently a 2-year gap during COVID. We're keen to attract new exhibitors, both adults and children, and for the last 3 years we've had a prize for the best first-time adult entrant. Let's have a look behind the scenes at some of our adult exhibitors. They've all been working very hard getting their exhibits ready for the big day. Some of our exhibitors have been busy preparing their fruit and vegetables since the beginning of the new year.
I've been entering the show round about 8 or 10 years now. I do it because I like growing things. I'm not in it to win, but I can assure you when you do win, then it's a really, really pleasing feeling. I've had some successes, mostly with the veg and sweet peas. And in fact, I've won several times sweet peas first prize and roses. But my main claim to fame are the vegetables, the onions and the leeks. We've already pricked them out and left them in the greenhouse for a while. Now they need to go outside into the big wide world and get hardened off just a day or a week at a time before they're replanted into their final resting place in the beds. It's only 2 weeks to go to the show. Over the past few months we've been pretty busy in the garden and making sure that the plants are growing to the best of their ability. Here is some of the produce I've already picked, but as you can see they need a lot of drying out, and over the next fortnight or so that's exactly what I'll be trying to do. getting rid of the green, and then I'll be able to tie them down into a purpose fit for the show. And this includes the shallots, the large white onions and the smaller white onions. Only 2 days or thereabouts to go for the greatest show on earth, well, at least in Austwick any rate. And I'm pleased to say that over the past 3 or 4 days the garden has really sprung into action, as it were. Here I'm stood alongside some broad beans which will be on my schedule in the show. They're full, the pods, as you can see, and there's a really good bloom on them, so I'm hoping to do well with these when I enter them on the weekend. At this stage now we've turned our attention to the shallots, and this entry requires 7 shallots, and you normally present shallots in a dish of sand, fine sand, and one of the requirements for the shallots is they need to be whipped with raffia or some sort of cord on the top. So here you look at this dish, I've already done that to 6 shallots, but here's the 7th one that I need to complete, and I shall try that now. Well, this tray of shallots now in fine sand, that's how they will be presented at the show. I'm really quite pleased with these. Had a few little disappointing issues with other entries, but these are looking good to me, and I would be quite happy to present these in the show.
The artistic flowers are a cornerstone of the show, and they always show a really high quality of exhibit.
I've lived in Austwick for 13 years, and I've been entering the show for about 11 years. I enjoy doing the floral competitions, so I enter in the floral ones. That's why I'm doing seedlings of flowers this year, so that I can grow my own and put them in my arrangements. It's early February, and it's now time to start sowing the seeds. So I take my trays, I put the soil in the pot, give it a water. Now we put the seeds in. And I cover the seeds, give it a spray. I'm writing out a label, and I put my label in the pot. We're now putting it on the windowsill in the greenhouse, ready for it to get some sun and moisture and heat. The seedlings have now grown and need to be potted on and split. So we're going to do that. I start off now, I have a pot, put a little bit of soil in the bottom, pick out your seedlings, put seedlings in your pot, make sure that you put a bit more compost in and firm it round, give it a good watering, and then you leave them. When they get another couple of weeks, when the weather's okay and we've not got any frost, we can then plant them in the garden. Earlier on in the year we planted some seeds. We planted marigolds, which now have been here a couple of months, and with the sun and the heat in the greenhouse they've come on really well. So I'm going to plant these into my raised beds where I grow my vegetables. I'm putting them in with my vegetables to stop the bugs from eating my crop. Now we just have to give them some extra water. I've gathered a selection of flowers from my garden that I grew earlier in the year, and we're going to make an arrangement for Austwick show in the artistic flower section, which is called A Burst of Orange. fact, I think that's just about ready for the show. You never know, I might get a third.
We've got great creative talent in the village who draw on long-standing hobbies to produce really wonderful exhibits.
I like to enter the art and photography sections. The category that caught my eye was drawing of a bridge. I've always been fascinated by bridges of all shapes and sizes. I've gathered together images of bridges that I've been looking at, but I think, everything considered, I think I'm going to concentrate on the Slater Bridge at Little Langdale. You need an angle, something that sort of draws your eye through the bridge. That's the way to get the thought of, it gives it more impact if you can. It draws the eye under the bridge, that's the way to do it. But I think that's probably as far as I'll take that now, because it would never be the finished thing. It just gives me an idea of which way it's going to go, really. After doing the original sketch in pencil and a bit of coloured pencil, I felt that pastel would be a better medium to express it, really, get more effects with it. I've been working on this about 4 hours now, just on and off. Keep walking away and coming back to it. Just bobbing some of the highlights and just maybe darkening the darker spots. And just get a bit of highlight on the water. Maybe a bit it gives a flow to the water going under the bridge or coming down. This water's flowing this way. But I'm nearly there, I think. I might look at it and come away from it and walk back and do another little bit, but I think we're just about finished there. I'm going to put some fixative on it to hold the pastel in place. With a mount on, it gives it a hard cropped edge, and it sets it off, and yeah, at this stage happy with what I've got there. Well, that's done, that's ready for the show now.
As well as the new entrants, some people have been taking part in the show for 30 years or more.
Well, twice a year we rent a cottage, and just beyond the cottage is a very extensive woodland, and not far into the wood is a tree which has an amazing face on it. And I've been fascinated by this for years and taken lots of photographs, and I thought this year I will felt that man in the tree. So I need to start selecting some wool to start doing something about it. Well, I'm going to start the first layer now, and I pull off bits about this sort of length and you lay them so that they overlap. Right, well, the next layer I do in the opposite direction. Now, I'm going to use a little bit more variety of colour. Now, all these bits will stick out eventually, probably may have a frilly edge, but I quite like that effect. Well, I think we'll have the face about there. So, I think I'm ready to start felting it now. Well, now having got the background sorted out last time with the wet felting and it's dried thoroughly, I'm now going to start the top decoration. As the head is the most important thing, I thought it was probably a good idea to make a start on the head anyway, to sort of see how it pans out with the rest of it. Well, I've been adding and subtracting from this for the last few weeks, so I'm just sort of finishing off bits now. Well, I think we're nearly there. Obviously edging is going to take a bit longer, so when that's done, all I need to do is to try and give this foliage at the bottom here a bit more definition, and then it's a question of sewing it onto some dowel to hang it up.
It's really great to see new people in the village taking part in the show.
We've lived in the village since March 2020 and we moved in about a fortnight before lockdown, which meant that we didn't meet anybody for the first 12 months. After that, everybody's so friendly, it's difficult not to get involved with anything at all. So I took the decision to enter into the show, and this is the third attempt I've been doing. On the morning of the show, I like to get up early because that's the way that I can create the freshest bread, which hopefully has the most impact. So it's a 6 o'clock start in order to be ready to take it into the village hall at 11 o'clock. I'm going to use a recipe today from Paul Hollywood's book on bread making for Stilton and bacon rolls. So I've gathered all the ingredients for the first stage, which is flour, butter, yeast, salt and some tepid water. First of all, I'm going to mix all the ingredients together. Well, I'm kneading the dough now for a couple of reasons. Firstly, to make sure all the ingredients are mixed in, but also to knock some air into it. Right, well, I feel that is kneaded enough. So I'm now going to shape it into a little ball and put it in the tin for rising, which will probably take about an hour and a half. The bread has been rising for about an hour and 3/4 now. I'm going to bring it out and then I'm going to mix the bacon and the cheese into it. The final thing to do before putting them in the oven is to sprinkle with water and dust with flour. Everything's ready, they're done, we hope. So into the oven they go. They've had the time in the oven, they've come out, I've tapped them, they sound hollow, so they must be done. Let them cool for a minute or two, and then off to the village hall.
Setting up the hall before the event is crucial to the smooth running of the show, and each year our team get on with the hard work without any fuss. There's always a real buzz when exhibitors arrive on the morning of the show to set up their displays and compare the quality of their entries with their competitors. Before the public are invited to view the exhibits, our judges take over. They take their responsibilities very seriously and carefully decide the order of prizes. At last, the public are allowed in to view the wonderful exhibits on display. People come from far and wide to enjoy the spectacle of our local talent and to sample the homemade refreshments.
So this is the first time I've been to the show. Previously I haven't been able to come, but wow, what a variety of produce and flowers. It looks fantastic.
The show back in my childhood and thinking, Oh, I love that. I wish I could do that. And then I thought, well, why not have a go? So I've been doing that ever since. But this is the last year, considering I've got to 94. I think it's somebody else's turn.
It's absolutely amazing, as it always is. The quality of the things in the shows, incredible. The talents we've got in this village is amazing. It's just a shame that perhaps the weather's been so poor this year. There's not quite as many entries in the flowers and the vegetables section. But overall, it's been wonderful. It's a really enjoyable afternoon.
Look at all these people and all the exhibits. They're just brilliant, and I think it's just as good, even though the weather has been really bad, but the exhibits have come up to scratch. Wonderful.
Looking round, it's all a delight. I love looking at all the creativity of the flowers, the way that they produce the vegetables and set them up, little carrots in a line, and the way they tie up the onions. It's art in itself, isn't it? But then I'm heading now to look at the real art and craft down at the top end.
Standard's gone up every year, particularly these photographs behind me. That's really superb, and the quality of veg and so on, just looking down here now, again, looks super quality.
Finally, the prize giving. The winners are celebrated with a variety of cups and trophies. Most of these go back many years and are a proud record of individual achievement.
I'd just like to thank everyone who's entered anything in the show today, because I really think it's been a really good show. And I think you will agree that the quality of the things in the show are absolutely excellent, and for a small village I think we've done really, really well. So, with more to do, we'll go on to the prize giving.
So, without further ado, let's get on with the prize giving. Well, the show's over. It's been a lot of effort. It's been a good team exercise, and as I said, there's
about 30 people have been involved in making it work, and it is a really good example of a community village effort. So next year we hope to run the same thing on the same first Saturday in August. I'm relieved it's over, and it's been a lot of fun, and I'm really proud to be part of it.
It's a lovely village show, and I would love it to continue as a lovely village show for as long as possible. We've got a lovely community, some really excellent people who enter some absolutely superb items. So let's hope it continues for as long as possible as a lovely village show.